What is a quadratic function? A quadratic function is a function that can be written in the form f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0. Let's take a closer look at the function. F of x is the name of your function. On the right-hand side, you have the quadratic expression ax squared plus bx plus c. Recall that an expression where the highest degree is 2 is a quadratic expression. You can think of the quadratic expression as a linear expression plus a quadratic term ax squared. Like this. Now, what do the graphs of quadratic functions look like? The coefficients a, b, and c all play important roles in shaping the graphs of quadratic functions that we call parabolas. In the videos to follow, you will see sliders like these. They will demonstrate the effect that changing the values of a, b, or c has on the way these graphs look. Let's explain the main features of a graph of a quadratic function. Here are two. Unlike graphs of linear functions, graphs of quadratic functions are curved. They all kind of look like the letter U. If a is greater than 0, then the graph looks happy. It has a minimum point at its center, which is the lowest point on the graph. If a is less than 0, then the graph looks sad. Then it has a maximum point, which the two sides mirror across, and which is the highest point. Be sure to remember that graphs with a positive a value look like smiles, and graphs with a negative a value look like frowns. You can even think of the graphs as selfies of the expressions. Let's examine this a bit further. Because of the shape of their graphs, which are parabolas, quadratic functions always have either a minimum or a maximum value. The minimum is the point on the graph where the graph changes from decreasing to increasing. It looks happy. Likewise, a maximum is the point where the graph changes from increasing to decreasing. It looks sad. There's a word you can use to refer to either the minimum or the maximum. That word is vertex. So, if you don't know if you have a minimum or a maximum on your parabola, you can call it the vertex of the parabola. You should know that graphs of quadratic functions are always symmetric. Their lines of symmetry run vertically through the maximum or minimum like this. Finally, notice that these graphs can lie above or below the x-axis. They can intersect at one point, like this, or they can intersect at 2 points, like this. Later, you will see that these points of intersection are the solutions to the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. They also determine if the equation has 0, 1, or 2 solutions. This is where equation theory and function theory branch into each other. But, for now, a quadratic function is a function that can be written in the form f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0. Its graph is U-shaped and is called a parabola.